Alright, hello everybody, this is Wicked, finally back for you with another audio commentary. I know it's been a little while, but you guys have had some good people to, listen to, so everything should be alright. And I've got this excellent replay for you, containing two pretty good players. We got Spirit Sky and LoveJY, which I'll just call Lovejoy because I like that name, even if it's not actually his name. So it's Undead versus Night Elf. Go ahead and get it paused at 2 minutes. That is where we're going to be starting. 2 minutes is usually a good starting point, because that's just about when heroes are coming out, or at least those heroes for races that aren't undead. So, if you guys have got it paused at 2 minutes, I'll give you a little bit more time to do that, and I'm just going to go over what I'll be talking about here. This is basically me going to give you some pretty simple pointers in the Night Elf versus Undead matchup. From the Undead perspective, we have a lot of fine Night Elf commentators at the site, including Cecil and Cygnus, who is now the new audio coordinator. Awesome at that. So, yeah, I just wanted to give some people some advice on how to beat Night Elf for once, rather than how to use Night Elf to dominate everything else. So by now, you really should have it paused at 2 minutes. If you don't, I'm really sorry, but we're going to unpause in, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Alright, so you can see that Lovejoy is going for the basic undead build with Ziggurats within Nerubian range of the mine to protect from harassment. And if you take a look over at Spirit Sky, he's building a pretty cool little line thing that I assume is to you put archers behind this line and they can fight off ghoul rushes. So you can see the Sky has gotten Sindweller or Sindweller as his Demon Hunter hero. And he's going to go try and pull off a bit of harassment, or as I like to say, rake off a little something. So he's going to start mana burning, and this is actually one of the first points that I'd like to make about the Undead versus Night Elf matchup. It's really tough to use Death Coil when you're constantly getting mana burned. And as you can see here, Lovejoy has built a nice little base that he can run back into. You should probably leave... Undead bases, unlike human bases, should have 2 or 3 openings, because you want to be able to run your ghouls back in there. So if you're on Lovejoy's vision, you'll notice that he hasn't picked his skill point yet, and you will see what he picks in a moment. Here's another, as far as tips for the matchup goes, don't use your Death Knight to attack the Demon Hunter, you're just going to get mana burned. Do what Lovejoy does there, and use your ghouls only to attack the Demon Hunter, because the Demon Hunter alone is not going to be able to kill a ghoul. Well, a Demon Hunter, yeah, can kill a ghoul, but not with that many ghouls around doing damage to it. So, tip number 1 would be, use ghouls to attack Demon Hunter, not Death Knight. So, now we have some creeping going on, and you'll see that... Excuse me. You'll see that Spirit Sky is bringing the usual... archers to do some fighting. You see yet another mana burn go off on Lovejoy's Death Knight, and here is where Lovejoy finally picks his first skill, Unholy Aura. Now you might be wondering, why didn't you go Death Coil? Well, think of it this way. If he goes Death Coil, he gets an advantage in being able to coil, but Spirit Sky also gets the advantage in making him lose that ability. Now, if he goes for Aura first, he gets an advantage in the movement speed and regeneration. But it doesn't matter if he gets mana burned. So it's either win-win or win-nothing. So maybe sometimes it's better to, get Aura first so that you can chase down archers, pull off better surrounds, that kind of stuff. And you'll see Sky's doing a fairly good job of hiding his archers. But Lovejoy, as any good undead should when rushing a Night Elf at night, has picked up Dust of Appearance. So there's tips number 2 and 3 there. Get Aura first, and always get Dust of Appearance. And so you'll see also that Lovejoy is using his fat-ass Death Knight there to block that archer. And so right now we have archer chasing, which you'll see it's actually made a lot easier because he's able to move so fast with that aura. So you see more utilization of the Dust of Appearance, and now he's finally being forced to run away by the continued Archer Demon Hunter Onslaught. But he has fairly good micro, in that he was able to send a bunch of red or orange ghouls back, and he hasn't really lost much. He lost maybe 1 or 2 ghouls. I wasn't really paying attention to exact ghoulage, and his Death Knight still has a regular amount of mana and is nearing level 2. And you'll see that Sky has now gotten a Panda. As far as Night Elf players go, Panda's your best friend versus Undead for that fat AoE versus them ghouls. And we're going to go see Lovejoy, I believe, do some scouting out here. He's just trying to check out, see what Sky's doing. Maybe harass a couple wisps on the way. It's a good idea to use your Death Knight to harass. And if you've gotten Aura first, then Detonate can't really do anything but kill your skeletons. So there's the Night Elf player creeping. Often you'll see Death Knights used in harassment to try and steal creep kills, that kind of stuff. But versus Night Elf is probably not a good idea with all that, all those archers that can attack you from range and do all that damage. So, right, this would be an extremely boring part of the game, but you'll see that Lovejoy is already taken to Tier 3 and getting a Slaughterhouse, and picking up a Lich. Now, it may seem horribly cookie-cutter, but it is important to go Lich and Death Knight versus Night Elf, because the Demon Hunter won't take normal damage. But if you use magic damage, he actually has a fairly low amount of HP. If you look at it, only 625. The only reason he stays alive so well is because of evasion. But if you're just doing magical damage to him, then he's probably going to go down pretty quickly. And here we have Sky doing some Acolyte harassment, which is really fucking annoying. But, yeah. And you'll see here that Lovejoy's gotten an excellent excellent little surround off, forcing him to teleport. And so we have Lich, Death Knights, lots of skeletons, some ghouls out creeping. So, the overall strategy of how to beat Night Elf is, when you hear a Night Elf complain about what races they have to face, you'll usually hear them say a lot about orcs. So, as Undead, you want to try and imitate orc as much as possible. So, you will see that later in the match, where we have some more orc imitation going on. And here we have Lord Lightstalker facing off against Indweller. And you'll see that Lovejoy is basically coiling as much as he can. This is another one of the good tips that we have, in that because your mana is going to get burned anyway, you really want to coil as fast as you can and as much as you can on pretty much any target. You'll notice that Lovejoy was able to get coils off on very low HP archers and get killing blows and all that, but he also just coiled the Demon Hunter when he first saw it because he knew he was going to get burned. So the Night Elf player is now commencing his strategy of Dryad massing, which is like by far the most annoying crap in the entire world. Why do Dryads beat Undead? Because they completely rape ghouls, they completely rape Gargs, they completely rape Destros. Abominations even aren't very good against them. The only thing that beats Dryads is either Piercing or Siege, and since we aren't getting Fiends here because they would get destroyed by Archers, you're going to need Siege, so we'll get some Meat Wagons later. I'm sorry about all the coughing, guys. I got a pretty bad cold. So, we're going to continue getting ghouls. Remember to throw up 2 slaughterhouses, just like a orc will oftentimes throw up 2 bestiaries or 2 barrackses. So, right. I think Lovejoy is, as of right now, laboring under the impression that his opponent will be getting bears. This is a sad mistake for him because he's going to be now getting destroyers, which are, needless to say, horribly inefficient against Dryads. Not only because they can't attack them, but because they get completely dominated by them in terms of, getting focus fired in huge amounts and dying very quickly. You notice we have a third hero here. It is Neperthos, the Cryptlord. Cryptlords are a fairly good choice for the undead player. They're pretty easy tanking.